I am here to tell you about my journey through my heart attack and my heart transplant. Thank you for this fantastic introduction, by the way. And most importantly, used to play football. I was football captain, wanted to play for India, never made it, but continued playing football. And this is 2015, 5th December, I was playing soccer. And apparently I got a few heart attacks. This is a typical illness which is called sudden cardiac death. It leads to sudden cardiac death. It's a ventricular tachycardia. I'm going to be a little technical here because मैंने पढ़ाई करी है उसके बाद. Typically what happens in young sportsmen is if you're running a marathon or if you're in the gym, when you overstress your heart, a blood clot comes into the heart and it blocks, it goes into your aorta and the entire heart gets choked. Because it's a young heart and a fit heart, it starts beating really hard. It's a pump, right? So your heart rate goes up to 250, 300, 320. And then the heart completely collapses. That is why a lot of people are unable to reach the hospital in time. And there's a very high mortality rate associated with this kind of a heart attack. 1 in 9 people are able to reach the hospital in time to be able to be revived. The heart can be revived even after 4 hours. That is how a transplant takes place. But if your brain doesn't have oxygen for more than 5-7 minutes, then even if you reach the hospital, they will not revive you because you will be brain dead. So they don't revive. So I was very lucky in the first place to be able to reach the hospital. And this is a very interesting story, full Bollywood movie. So I reached home and I told my wife, yaar, aaj acidity kafi ho rahi hai, and this is one symptom of a heart attack. Your esophagus and your heart are pretty close together. So even doctors cannot differentiate ki gas ho rahi hai, ki actually heart attack ho raha hai. They have to actually put an ECG on you to really figure out if you're getting a heart attack. So in fact, finally, I live in Delhi and I'm actually 2 homes away from Max Hospital. So if I knew I was getting a heart attack, we would have been able to walk to Max Hospital but I didn't know. My wife asked me, kahan dard ho rahi hai? Kaha, yahan solar plexus mein dard ho rahi hai. So she says, kya karna hai? She says, I see you in so much pain. I think we should go to the hospital. Maybe it's your heart. I said, tu pagal hai? Main aur heart attack abhi football khel kar aaya hu. Man of the match, hat-trick, kya bol rahi hai? She says, anyways, let's go. So we packed up our stuff, went to our family nursing home, which was 45 minutes away. And during that car journey, then I started feeling a little uncomfortable, started losing consciousness, started getting cold sweat in the middle of December. Then I said, let's hurry up. I reached the hospital, they put me onto the ECG to check. But before they could do that, I flatlined. So flatline means God. That's when they realized he was really having a heart attack. So they rushed me into the emergency room and gave me CPR and they revived me. Meanwhile, they told my wife that this is a very complicated issue. We can't handle it. We have asked for an ambulance from Escorts, Delhi. In the ambulance, I had 8 more episodes because the symptoms were there. The blood clot was in the aorta. I used to get a heart attack again. I used to flatline. They used to revive me again. Then the entire process happened again till we reached Escorts. So we reached Escorts and people were ready. They wheeled me into the OT. We did the operation. ठीक ठाक बाहर आ गए. But somehow I couldn't rest, I couldn't sleep. So they decided to induce sleep. They gave me an injection did. And somehow I was so stressed mentally that what's happening that I started resisting it mentally. and they kept increasing the dosage of this sleep-induced. What happened, unfortunately, that after that, I went into a coma. So I was in a coma for 5-6 days. Saturday evening, they induced me. Sunday, I did not wake up. Monday, I did not wake up. Tuesday, then the doctors panicked. Told my parents, ki, bhai, we don't know why he's not waking up. Start calling the family. Kisi se baat karega, kisi ki awaaz sunega, to shayad mein bhi he'll wake up. Did not wake up. It was a very tough time for the family. I am a believer of Sai Baba, so my wife said, "Nee, Thursday uthega, Thursday uthega, Thursday uthega." She kept on, and Thursday morning happened. My wife used to typically spend the night in hospital. And then my mother-in-law was looking after my kids, who school भेजते थे. शाम को 3-4 बजे गरीब बच्चे वापस आते थे स्कूल से. तो my wife used to take a break and go and meet the kids and then come back quickly. On that Thursday, then is the first time she told me that she went home and she broke down for the first time. Ki don't think anything is going to happen. And the moment that happened, she met the kids and she got a call from the hospital that he's woken up. So came back. The first thing, funnily, she says is, "Karhun, do you remember me?" And she said, I made a very angry face. She said, "Theek hai." He's here. So after that, we got discharged. I started doing my physio. You know, they did some counseling. They said, because you're very fit, you'll be able to recover quickly. But you have to live the rest of your life as a cardiac patient. But take it easy, no party, nothing. So we did that, but somehow I could not recover. And as we did tests over a period of time, February, they said, "Ki, we have to put a device in your chest, which is called an ICD, which is an internal cardio defibrillator, which means that if the heart is so weak that you can get a heart attack anytime, there's a little device which keeps giving you enough little shocks to keep the heart pumping so that you can reach the hospital in time." I said, okay. Then 3-4 mahine fir aur nikal gaye. I tried to do my walking. Wasn't really feeling great. So around July, August, we went for a checkup, regular. We were doing checkups every week, I think. And the cardiologist, told me, can you just wait outside? And they asked my wife to stay in. And that's when they told my wife that I was in 3rd stage congestive heart failure, which means that my heart wasn't able to pump enough blood to the rest of my organs, and I was slowly but surely done. So that was another wake-up call, and they said, "Ab kya kare?" And this is 2016. We tried to call up a few hospitals around Delhi. To pata chala ki AIMS had only done 2 transplants, one heart, Escorts had done none, Gangaram had done none. So there was not a lot of awareness in Delhi. Fortunately, we connected to some people in Chennai. And at that time, every hospital in Chennai was doing between 10 to 15 transplants a month. Kidney, lungs, hearts, everything included. So met the doctor there. Doctor said, 2-3 tests karne padenge, test kar. So, because I was relatively fit, because I just stopped playing football. There is one test called VO2 max. जो sportsmen को करते हैं, they put a mask on you and they made me run a cycle. जो VO2 max का immediately result आ जाता है, and that doctor said, "Oh, you're on the borderline, so maybe you don't need a transplant." I'm बोल रहा यार, if we need a transplant, we don't need a transplant, हो क्या है? Then the next day they do a little bit of a complicated test where they put some medicine into you, and then they put a camera into you. It's supposed to be 2-3 hour test, but within 40 minutes they said, for sure, you need a transplant. And they said, "Aap वापस मत जाओ, आप we put you on a list, you stay here. You stay in Chennai. So anyways, we said, aisa nahi ho sakta. How many days do you need? They said, I said, yeah, 4-5 din de do to organize the family and everything. They said, to come back. Then this is the time I would consider the darkest period of my life. We were in Chennai. We were supposed to live very close to the hospital and wait for a donor to come. So every day we used to call out the hospital ki bhai, any hope? They said, nahi ji, jab hoga to aapko bata denge. So this waiting period and my rapid deterioration of health after that, let me explain to you. Before my transplant, maybe a month before my transplant, I was... so you have an ejection fraction, which is a thumb rule for your heart efficiency. The left ventricular ejection fraction dictates the strength of your heart. And for normal people, it is 45 to 65%. For heart patients, it's 30%, 25%. Mine had fallen below 20% by then, which is supposed to be critical. And falling rapidly, I think it was around 10% before my heart transplant, where I was permanently on a wheelchair. I could not get out of my bed to go to the washroom before having to take a break because I was breathless. I still insisted on taking showers myself. And after showers, when I was, I had to literally sit down to catch my breath to be able to wipe myself. I couldn't bend down and stand up straight. I couldn't sleep supine because my chest was so heavy. My heart couldn't pump the blood into my brain, so I had to be sleep sitting up. So ye thi halat, and I told my wife ki yaar, maybe this is not a life worth living. I don't want to live like this on a wheelchair. Chennai se hum वापस आ रहे थे, तो I had to be on a wheelchair, so you have to wait for the entire flight to empty out for wheelchair passengers. And people were looking at me here weirdly कि ये अच्छा इसको wheelchair चाहिए. So it wasn't a very nice feeling. Finally, and a very interesting thing, Sai Baba ko hum pray kar rahe the, and I said, I want to spend the Diwali with my children. So my children were flown in for that Diwali. I think 30th October ko Diwali thi. First they went back. And 1st November, I decided to write my will. Because at that time, people had said ki bhai, tumne will likhi, all my friends. So, 42 pe will kaun likhta hai? So I decided to write my will at that time. And when I was writing my will, my entire life flashed in front of me. और वो 2 घंटे मैंने will लिखी, खूब रोया. And the moment I finished writing the will, literally, my wife got a call that, have you had breakfast? Has he had anything to eat? She said, yeah, we've had breakfast. इसके बाद मत खाना, क्योंकि there's a possibility that they found the heart and the team is going to go check the heart. But in this case, there's a lot of false alarms also. Heart harvest करने के time पता लगता है कि so typically what happens is this is a cadaver donation. Cadaver donation means that somebody has to give up their life in order to donate the organ. So this means that typically it's an accident victim who's declared brain dead. And when they're switching off the ventilator is when they take permission from the family to harvest the organs. So quickly, I'll fast forward, organ mil gaya, match ho gaya. Wednesday night, I was wheeled into the operation theater 11:30 and 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, I was wheeled out. After that, I woke up and I said, yaar, maine life mein kiya, mar gaye, वापस आ गए, 8 बारी मर के वापस आए. What have you done in life? What do you want to do? One has to find, and this is a message for all you youngsters. You have to find the passion and follow it passionately. So I said, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to, dedicate my life to, or most of my life to for organ donation awareness. And I work with a lot of organizations to create organ donation awareness. In fact, I don't know if you guys know or not, but you guys can save, if one person decides to donate all their organs, you can save 8 lives. 8 लोगों की जिंदगी आप बचा सकते. So recovered quickly, was very determined to come back to as normal a life as I could lead. Managed to join the Indian team. We have a transplant team, which is like the Olympics. So you have the normal Olympics, then you have the Paralympics, and then you have the transplant games. I managed to get into the team and was fortunate enough. This year we represented India. I was the team captain. 32 athletes went and we won 35 medals. I mean, जिंदगी भर जब ठीक था तो इंडिया के लिए खेलना चाह रहा था. ट्रांसप्लांट होने के 2 साल के बाद इंडियन टीम में इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट भी कर लिया इंटरनेशनल. So, I mean, this is what life brings about. You always have challenges. There is no negative outcome of a challenge. It is how you perceive it. You have to perceive the challenge, the outcome of a challenge as a positive, and take away the positive from it. And जाने से पहले, in conclusion, I have 2 messages for you guys. One is pretty powerful. जिंदगी देने वाला भगवान होता है. और एक इंसान ने अपनी ज़िंदगी दी, हमें ख़त्म करके मुझे एक ज़िंदगी दी है, तो मैं उसको रोज़ याद करता हूँ और मैं उसको अपना भगवान बुलाता हूँ. Literally. In India, they don't make you meet the family, but every day I wake up and I pray to that nameless donor who gave up his life to give me life. And my second message to you guys is maybe for you later on in life, maybe for your parents and your grandparents, is that the legacy that you leave behind, the will that you leave behind, the legacy that you leave behind should not be the properties and the wealth. It should be how many lives you have managed to save. This should be the legacy that your children should take away. Thank you.